Do you have a child who's struggling with their Chumash and Gemara learning, their Bible and Talmud studies? Are you a parent who would love to be able to help your child with their Judaic studies learning, but don't have the background, either because you didn't have a day school education, a yeshiva education as a child, or you may have been attending school all the years, but never really got Chumash or got Gemara? If that's the case, buckle up and join us for the next 4 weeks. The series is titled, I'll Help You, Help Them. Over the next 2 weeks, I'm going to be giving you 12 lessons in beginner Chumash. 8 of those are called Chumash fundamentals. I'm a very firm believer that in order to master Chumash, it's so much more helpful if you understand how the Hebrew language works. Look, ideally the way to teach Chumash is to learn Hebrew first, like you would studying any text in a foreign language. That's really what it is, unless your kids live in Israel or have a background in Hebrew language. You're really teaching them text in a foreign language. So that's what you ideally should do. But lacking that, I believe that if you can understand how Hebrew language works, which basically is like Lego, there's root words, prefixes, and suffixes. The great news is there aren't too many of the prefix and suffix. So many of the root words, what we call sharashim, are repetitive throughout Chumash. For example, a fellow in Bar Ilan University many years ago did a study and found that, believe it or not, 270 root words comprise 93% of all the words in Chumash. It's really remarkable. So if you learn how language works and how to put complex words together, to construct them and to deconstruct them when you're trying to decode the text, you'll be able to help your children get through it in a much more productive way. My name is Yaakov Horowitz. I've had the privilege of working in the field of Jewish education since 1982, when I started teaching an 8th grade class. There I taught Chumash and Gemara and Talmud. Many of my students came to class very frustrated, having spent 7 years in school and not been able to master Chumash, and especially Gemara. Gemara is in Aramaic. It's much more complicated. So I did fundamentals with them, and then when I started my own yeshiva in 1997, I was determined to produce materials in the school that children can utilize to help them have a Bright Beginnings. That's what the series is called. So we're going to be working off my Bright Beginnings Chumash and Gemara books. Our 2 Bright Beginnings sequential Chumash books were sold over 35,000 copies of them so far, and they're in schools around the world. You don't need to purchase the Chumash books to join the series, because any sheets that you're going to need for it will be displayed on the presentation as we go along. But I really encourage you to take the time, especially now with the school year beginning, to learn it yourself. That's the title of the series. Help you, help them. I really believe that it's doable. Even if your child is struggling, I believe the best way to do it is to go back to doing fundamentals. It's not a lot of fun at the beginning because you're learning fundamentals. Think about a different sport. Think about playing golf or playing basketball. The coaches, if you're taught professionally, they all do fundamentals at the beginning. The kids want to play basketball, but until they learn certain skills and certain tools, they're really going to have a hard time mastering it. So join us, please. Believe it or not, all the classes together over the next 12 days comprise less than 1 hour of instruction. Please join. I hope you find it helpful. I'll be with you throughout the journey. Very, very much looking forward.